that the PUBG dev letter for anti-cheat activities of 2024, I guess, is the first half of 2024. So they go over in some detail about their anti-cheat review, going over their proprietary system Zakynthos that PUBG created as their anti-cheat software. They're going to talk about how it's improved over the years that it's been developed, talk about number of cheaters, suspected number of cheaters, how it's gone down, how they are changing the ban system, the temporary ban system, and more. So let's talk about some of those changes here. Anybody can access this, by the way. Just go to pubg.com/news. It's the anti-cheat dev letter, and I have the dark mode turned on so I don't blind myself. So I'll just be highlighting this as we go. So PUBG put out this anti-cheat dev letter, which they've done a few times, just to kind of keep the player base updated as to, hey, how have the changes been going in terms of stopping cheaters, banning cheaters, etc. So let's go through it. So in 2024, the anti-cheat team continues to take various actions to establish a fair gaming environment. Today, they're sharing detailed updates and several key metrics. Note that regional situations may vary, as all graphs and statistics presented cover all regions. So if you are in a region that has a higher amount of players, your region will typically have a higher amount of cheaters. All right, so it's all percentages. And if you are a player that plays more ranked matches, you are going to see for sure a higher amount of cheaters as compared to someone like me who doesn't really play any ranked games. I run into way less cheaters than what a lot of people claim that they run into. So let's look at some of the numbers. So they've got Zakynthos. Key upgrades included refining and introducing 2 new features to Zakynthos, their proprietary anti-cheat solution. As a result, they've issued permanent bans to 1.4 million accounts for using illegal software in the first half of 2024. So the first half of the year, they banned almost 1.5 million permanent bans. Furthermore, we've conducted 2 rounds of optimizations and enhancements for anti-ESP, addressing vulnerabilities and bolstering overall system security. ESP is basically when people have like the wall hack. So they have access to PUBG's live stats and data, and they can see players through the map, where they are at every location, where they're looking, all that kind of stuff. So they are addressing that as well. The data below shows the percentage of suspected cheaters in ranked temporarily went up after April 2024 due to the increase in the new use of illegal software, but has since resumed its downward trend as a result of active countermeasures. So apparently in 2024 April, it had some change. Some new software came out, some new illegal software came out. More people started using it. Zakynthos could not counter it quick enough. So there's a little spike in April, but apparently it's tapered off since then for 2024. Again, this is ranked, what is it, ranked up? This is ranked and normal. Okay, so this graph is for both. It has ranked in red. Yeah, look at this. Daily percentage of suspected cheaters. Look at how low it is for casual modes. Is that 1%? Wait, is this 10% up to 80%? Is that what I'm seeing here? Because it says 0.1. It's got to be 10%. So 0%, 10, 20. So judging by the graph, the number of suspected cheaters for non-ranked matches used to be around 15%, if I'm reading this graph correctly. You guys see that? Used to be around 15%, and now it's down in the single digits, roughly 6%. We are also addressing the issue of keyboard and mouse usage on console. Interesting. How are they doing that? In the first half of the year, they developed and implemented a system to analyze and categorize keyboard and mouse usage patterns. Oh, interesting. We are currently validating the system further to establish a reliable baseline and put it into practical use. So they haven't implemented it yet. Okay. They plan to enhance their response capabilities in the second half of the year for those cheaters. Wow, I didn't know that. So, yeah, exactly. Mind-numbing numbers. Think about that. 1.5 million accounts. But again, look at the numbers here. Ranked and normal. If you looked at ranked matches, January of last year, it was somewhere in the as high as 71% suspected cheaters. This isn't like banned, accounts. This is just suspected. But still, 60 or 70% of players who are playing ranked, they suspected to be cheating. Now it's gone down a lot, but it's still a lot. There's still, 30% roughly? So when you play a ranked game, there's how many people? 64 people in the game. So 10% would be 6. So you're looking at 18 or so players of every ranked lobby are suspected to be cheating. Right? A third. Is my math right on that? Did I just butcher that? 30%. That's a lot, right? So that's like 3 teams, like 3 full teams are going to be cheating, maybe, likely, suspected in every ranked match. Yeah, but just it's the same thing like when how they use, like, look, everything's backwards over here. This is how Korea does it. It's not 0.8%. This is like you gotta move the decimal too. So, yeah, that's still a lot of players. Crazy amount of players. And again, that's suspected. That doesn't mean like definitely cheating, but suspected. Improving the temporary ban system. So how are they changing the temporary ban system? When issuing temporary bans, various characteristics and records of cheaters are taken into account. Some temp bans are based on a combination of player reports and other in-game data collected by their automated system. As players cannot control reports from others, there's a risk that temporary bans could mistakenly affect innocent players. Yes, that happens a lot, actually. People who get mass reported can get temporarily banned like that. However, it is important to note that no ban is based solely on player reports. Instead, bans are issued after a thorough analysis of a wide range of in-game patterns and data. That's good. That's a good change. This year, we've been shifting away from temporary bans that are even partially affected by player reports. Instead, they're replacing them with advanced deep learning models, AI, to identify and classify cheating behaviors, including the use of aimbots, ESPs, and recoil control hacks. So they're using AI to detect players who are using AI to cheat. The graph below shows the daily shares of temp bans since last July, with the bottom representing the percentage of report-related temporary bans. Okay, here, report-related temporary bans are considered players along with other in-game data. Okay, you can see that the report-related temporary bans are gradually decreasing in the first half of this year. We plan to replace all of them in the near future to reduce the risk of false bans. Of course, while we're improving or removing player reports as a factor in bans, they will still be an important resource for us to determine the current state of cheating and to respond to suspected cheaters. So that's interesting. What they're saying here is that they're gradually removing the validity of your in-game report feature. So like right now, if you go to player report in game, it still could affect that player if enough people report them, but eventually it won't mean anything. Like in terms of getting that player banned, it says they're removing player reports as a factor in bans. So if you report somebody and enough people report them, it might trigger algorithmic review of that player, maybe, but it looks like they're moving to a log logic related ban phase where their AI system, Zakynthos, is just automatically determining who's a cheater and who's not a cheater. Okay, this is weird. Hold on, I might have to eat my words real quick. Look at this. Because this graph says, I can't zoom in. Wait. This graph actually does say 100%. But this graph said 0.1%. It just doesn't make, there's no way it's 0.1%. Right? There's obviously, there's more than 0.4%. And there's definitely more than 4%. This has to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It has to be. There's no way that's anything less than that. Gotta be. I don't know why they're just not consistent with their numbers. But anywho, this graph is showing you in-game report-related bans. That's dropped off significantly, and now their software is doing the most of it, this purple group. So their software is in charge of banning roughly 80%. 80% of the bans that occur are due to PUBG's automated software. Right now, only about 20 to 30% of the bans are report-related bans. In addition to replacing report-related bans, we're also working to improve the accuracy of existing temporary bans. Ban appeal counts validity of temporary bans. Okay, what we got here? Ban appeal counts validity of temporary bans has gone up over time, is what they're showing, and ban appeals have gone down. Okay, so they're saying less people are winning their appeals, and they are further bolstering the validity of their bans up to almost 99% sure. What's crazy is that there's only 2,400 ban appeal counts. Like at any given time, there was only up to what, 2,100? That can't be right? 2,100 ban appeals. So like out of the 1.5 million players, only 2,100 people appealed to ban. These graphs aren't the cleanest. In a previous dev letter, we reintroduced the hardware ban method that issues temporary bans based on the situation, but this has caused confusion among players. Interesting. Therefore, we plan to refine and adjust the scope of its application. Okay. They've also enhanced their team kill response logic to address instances where players were not being penalized for team kills or were unfairly restricted due to mistakes. So if you accidentally team kill somebody with a grenade and it gets like your whole team or something, through a thorough analysis of factors such as intent and player interactions, we have improved our response mechanisms to ensure fair outcomes. That's got to be a tough one, because like on one hand, if you have a player that is doing like 10% of their kills every week is team kills, okay, well, like obviously something's fishy there. But like, let's say you play 2 nights out of the week, like you're not like a, all the time gamer, you're a couple hours a night and you maybe get 2 nights a week, and you have like a weird game where you ban, or you have a C4 kill that kills your whole team or something, and so percentage wise you might have had like a 20% team kill rate over that week. Like how do they take that into account? Is it like over time, a long period of time? Like I wonder like what their data is actually looking at. Their measures against new threats. What's this? One notable example is the exploitation of hardware-based direct memory access to run illegal software. Following confirmation of DMA usage, they've developed various detection technologies to issue bans. Furthermore, they've updated their rules of conduct on June 12th to impose permanent bans on DMA issues. That's so weird they have to update the rules of conduct in terms of service just to make it legal that they can ban you. Our efforts to refine our detection technologies are ongoing. Okay. Additionally, we have detected the development of illegal software utilizing the latest technologies, and while these programs are still in their early stages and provide only limited advantages, we consider them a threat to the integrity of gaming environment and are dedicated to combating them. As these new threats are unlikely to disappear anytime soon, the anti-cheat team remains dedicated to enhancing our anti-cheat initiatives to foster a fair gaming environment. Lastly, we are also committed to addressing the issues related to the leaderboards based on your feedback. That's interesting. I do see a lot of people complain about that. How if you go to ranked, you look at the leaderboards, like the top, 15% of players in there are all cheating. That is weird how you can go and look at that and those players are still playing the game when they have like, a 10 kill death ratio and a 50% headshot ratio and a 30% win rate and like all these like crazy high stats. It is interesting how that can still happen when you've got all this apparent technology that's supposed to be able to like self-identify weird play patterns, I don't know. I always hear the argument that like players say PUBG doesn't care about anti-cheat. Like obviously that's not true. These guys literally created an entire software, like their own proprietary software. You know how much that probably cost them to make their own software and then like develop it and R&D it and bolster it to make it like the best thing that they can make? That's obviously not cheap. So they clearly care about getting rid of cheaters, but at the same time, god damn, 1.5 million accounts were permanently banned. Like that's 1.5 million accounts banned first half of 2024 is not counting all of the like 72-hour suspensions, the 3-day suspensions, the 24-hour suspensions. Like that doesn't include all of those accounts. That's only the ones that went temporary suspended and then they go, oh yep, you're permanently banned. That's crazy. That's that many people. But again, I will go back to this. Assuming this is 10 and 20%, this is saying 5% of suspected cheaters. 5% of suspected. If I had to take a shot in the dark, the actual amount of cheaters in your game is probably half of that, or even a fraction of that. So if you're playing at a 100-player lobby, you might think 5% are suspected cheating. I would be willing to say maybe half of those guys are actually cheating in your match. Maybe half. And I say that just my personal experience. I played the game literally 5 days a week, like 5 hours at a time. So I don't run into that many cheaters. But they obviously exist. It's not like they're not there. August 14th, PUBG weekly ban notice. Click here for a full list of permanently banned accounts. So look at that. You can actually look at permanently banned accounts. Look at that. Holy cow. How many pages? Oh my god. 762 pages of permanently banned accounts. Wow. Wow. That's wild. Okay, here we go. Banned player list for the past week of using illegal software and the consequences of misconduct, so team kills, that kind of stuff. Accounts banned. 110,000 accounts. 110,000 accounts were banned this week in a 1 week period. 98,000 banned for cheating. 7,600 banned for team killing. 3,400 for teaming, and 663 for abusing. What are they abusing, I wonder? Like in-game exploits? Devices banned. 82,000 devices banned. Oh, like a heart. So wow. So 98,000 cheaters. 82,000 of those cheaters got hardware banned. And 160,000 accounts affected. Is that like all time? Or is that just this week? How does that correlate? That's confusing to me. There's a total of 110,000 accounts banned, but 160,000 accounts affected by the device bans. Well, I guess if your computer has multiple accounts, maybe that's how they get there. Also, is this ranked, casual, or both? They say you should set up Steam Guard mobile authenticator to make sure your account isn't hacked and abused. Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it's a lot of cheaters in a week. I think that has to be ranked, man, or a combination of ranked and casual, because there's no way there's that many cheaters in casual. Just by the last graph we looked at, you know. Cheaters stink. Getting to get out of the game, banned permanently. Hardware needs to be banned. You know, the game's free to play, so it's not like it's hard for them to make a new account. But if you're banning ranked players, you do have to buy PUBG Plus to play ranked. But I think people who are actually cheating, they're buying free ranked up accounts, and they're probably getting them at a fraction of the actual cost of the account. You know, because like an account is free. PUBG Plus is like $15, I think, or something like that, to be able to play ranked. You know, they're probably paying a couple of dollars per account if I had to take a shot in the dark. Oh, also on the topic of cheaters, I guess, since we got time, if you're ever curious, man, like who's cheating, how can I find out who's cheating? Use a site like PUBGLookup.com. Let me pull up my other computer, actually. PUBGLookup.com, a great website to look at player stats and stuff, right? If you ever think someone's cheating, this is a great place to look. Or look at your own stats, if just for shits and giggles. So if I go to my lifetime stats, you can see that on my PC account, I have 14,000 plus matches. I have 1,400 wins. So my win percentage is 10%. Now keep in mind, I'm an above average player for sure, but I also like don't really play for wins. You know, like I do want to win, of course, but I do like weird modes and challenge games and just kind of just messing about more for content than anything, right? So if someone has a higher win percentage, it doesn't mean like, oh, that's sketchy. But like if someone's got like a 30% win ratio, it's like, okay, that's suspect. I have a 3.1 KD, but that's a lifetime, and that includes solo, FPP, or it includes FPP and TPP. And we all know TPP is easier than FPP. So you can see on the right hand side of the screen over here, my solo TPP kill death ratio is 7.8, which is crazy high. But that's because I play casual modes where you can play 3 of those each day, and that's up against like 86 bots. So it's, you know, you're farming bots essentially, and for whatever reason PUBG allows those to pad your stats. They shouldn't, but they do. So you might see someone's KD really high and be like, what the hell? But if they're doing all TPP stuff, keep that in mind. Then my solo FPP stats 3.2, duos 3.0, and squads is 2.6, and then obviously you see the TPP stuff, you know, typically way higher, right? So that's something to keep in mind, but you always want to look at that for like a red flag. You know, if they got a really high KD, that could be a red flag. If their headshot ratio is really high, that could be a KD. Like over 30% headshot ratio is a red flag. I don't care who you are. Tiggleton has like a 28% headshot ratio, okay? What else? You could also look at, like, if you think is somebody just bot farming, you can go to matches. And you can actually look at individual matches. So like I won, look, this match I have second place with, what place did I get into? Hold on. What music are we listening to? What the frick, dude? Jesus. Oh, that was the custom matches that we did? Yeah, that was custom matches. Let me not look at those because those don't count, obviously. Duo, FPP. Me and Hollywood Bob. Click on it. And it says, we got first place. I got 8 kills. Here's my damage and all that. Knocks, time survived, how much you distance traveled. How many players were in the lobby? 89. How many bots were in the lobby? Only 5 bots. So a very small percentage of bots were in the lobby. And that can be a really good way for you to look at, are they bot farming? Because it says kills 8, bot kills 1. So just some like cool stats that you can look up. And there's even like the 2D map replay, which you can do this now in PUBG's UI. You can look at the match replay in game, which is cool, but this has been here for forever. You can look at, you know, where all the players traveled, all the airdrops, who killed who, the kill tree, all that kind of cool stuff. So just a really cool site to track your own stats or look up other players and go, is this person really legit? Like, I might think they're cheating. Let me go look at these stats and go see what's going on.